All right, let me just set it up on my flow now. Where? That's, that's Mhm. Thank you for your patience. If you are on, we have been live. Oh, Jesus, help us. Okay.
Hey, we live? All right.
Wait a minute. It's been live from over there. Just trip.
Okay.
It still was trying to do what it does over there. Girl.
All right.
All right, y'all. We've been live. We've been live trying to figure it out. We're at a disclosed location, and the Wi-Fi wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. But we are here. Can you see it? I know it's little. Can you see yourself? Okay. So hey guys, this is Kendall and this is
Kaye Guidugli.
all right. And so we wanted to come together. She is a professional makeup artist. First, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Kaye. I'm based here in Baltimore City and travel throughout the DMV as well as nationwide, internationally, as a professional makeup artist. And we do weddings. So my makeup artist company, we also provide traveling hair services. We do weddings, special event, corporate events, headshots, news, production work, etc.
So she's a professional makeup artist on what channel?
Um, well, with Fox,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also work with Under Armour.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with Dateline NBC,
Mm-hmm.
PBS, and yeah, and some others. I'm trying to think. I did something with Volkswagen,
Mm-hmm.
a few pharmaceutical companies.
So she's accomplished.
That's why I work.
That's pretty much what she's saying. She says she's worked. All right. So we wanted to come together to talk about. You guys know I do professional hosting amongst everything else. So we wanted to come together just to talk about weddings, right? Because it's wedding season. We talk about makeup and professional hosting and other events that we are available for, quality events. So how long have you been doing weddings?
Hmm. How long have I been doing? That's a great question. Um, I will say, it's easiest to say this.
Mm-hmm.
I filed my paperwork for my business in
Mhm.
December of 2017.
Okay.
I was licensed as a makeup artist in 2007.
Uh-huh.
So I think I did my first wedding probably in like 2006. Like
Wow.
and that was with like Mary Kay sample packets of foundation, doing highlight and contour with sample packets.
But
So
I bet it was nice.
it was.
I bet it was nice.
Because the girlfriend I was doing all her bridesmaids, she had a friend from college. She had gone to Hampton, who was a professional makeup artist, professional TV film, and I was doing it for free. And I remember her friend who was doing makeup out of her real kit kept looking over at me, and I felt like she kept saying, "She didn't charge you for this. She didn't charge you for this." And I look back on it now, and there was just a long history of me not realizing what my gifting was and what level of service I was providing.
Because we talked about that.
Yeah.
Giving our gifts away. We're not doing that anymore. I mean, special occasions, but we were talking about giving our gifts away. And oftentimes we do that. Why do you think we do that?
Mm, I read something once that talked about sometimes it makes us feel valuable to be valued by other people. And also that sometimes we don't know the value of it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really understand that makeup artistry was a professional career or a possibility. So if you aren't taught that what you're doing has a certain dollar tag on it, you will have no idea to charge for it.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I told Kay before, I grew up with a professional makeup artist as a mom,
That's
and I
right.
watched her work, whether because she modeled also. So that whole world I was a part of. So prom, I was like, Mom, I don't want all that, with this. I don't want all that. And now everybody is paying for all of that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants all of that. But I guess when you're so used to seeing it, and me and my brother, we would be like, it's time to go. We're going to have some fun. And my mom would be like, wait, I just got to do my makeup. Me and my brothers be like, oh, that's going to take forever. And she's like, no, it'll take about 10 minutes. And when I tell you, beat 10 minutes, but to us, it seemed like a long time. So when people what do people come to you for when they like makeup wedding? What are some of the trends that you see that they want in weddings?
Dewy, well, we're in a back into a dewy phase. So like your dewy natural skin. I mean, our traditional brides are glowy skin, youthful. I always recommend not doing a bright colored lip
Yeah.
because, unless it's a super matte non-transferable lip,
Yes.
the groom is gonna wear it when he kisses the
Yeah.
bride. So yeah, but it's mainly natural. Light shimmer on the lid, soft blush, neutral lips.
Yeah, and that's what most people want.
That's what most people who come to us are looking for.
Yeah.
They're looking to look more like themselves, but in HD. A lot of them don't want a heavy makeup application. They still want their skin to look like skin. They often wear minimal makeup throughout the day. They recognize they need makeup for pictures, but they don't want a full on glam transformation where they look different from themselves. They want the groom or their other bride to know it's them.
Yeah.
They're coming down the aisle. So that's usually who gravitates towards our business.
That's so interesting. So when I just did my talk show, um, and the woman was doing the makeup for that, I was like, I just want to look like myself. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you'll see people before you've seen them online, the before and after, and they look like totally
absolutely
different people. So you're not here for that.
There's a time and place for that.
Right.
If somebody comes in and they say, I want to look like a different person,
do they say that?
fine. I've had people say that. They say they don't want to look, they want to look like a different person.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Right.
fine. But if you tell me natural, it's gonna be natural. It's not gonna be a full beat with neutral colors.
It's gonna be natural. Yeah.
And some of that too is because I do work with athletic brands on campaigns. So like if you say you want to look natural,
that's natural.
You're gonna look like you have no makeup on.
Yeah.
That's how
the no makeup look.
Yeah. If you want to look like you have makeup on, then it can be a challenge for me when I hear natural.
So what should people ask for if they want a natural look for their wedding? What should they ask for?
They should first be clear on what natural means to them. Natural means different things to different people.
Yeah.
For some people, natural is no makeup. For sometimes it's just neutral colors. And so what I found is it can mean that word means very different things to
Mm-hmm.
different people. So
Mm-hmm.
it's best to have reference photos
Yeah.
in terms of what you're looking for,
Yeah.
being able to show what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
And that will really help the artist better understand what natural means to
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I would love to work together on a
Yeah.
wedding. Hosting is so fun to me because I could just be myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I could really is really taking the load off of the marital couple, the couple, right?
Okay.
And everybody else, because so many people focus on, well, I got to say this, I got to do this, or I got to make sure this person is happy, or I got to make my rounds here. And it's so stressed out. Like, I just want them to have a good time. I want them to have fun. That's my job.
Yeah. So what does that look? Well, one, how did you get
Hmm.
into event
Hmm.
hosting? And then what does that look like for you when you host?
Yes, that's a good question. So I have been doing it, like you said. Oh, I've been doing that for a very long time. I would put 20 years on that,
Mm-hmm.
doing that. When I first started doing it, I was doing it for free.
Mm-hmm.
People just knew like my personality and my background, and they were like, let host this for me. But what it looks like to me is professionalism. It looks like fun, and it looks like me just kind of, how do I want to say this? Blanketing the day with what the couple asked for. So if they want fun, if they want me to get camera interviews or just talk to people about what's happening at the wedding or well wishes, some people just want that. Like, hey, can you make sure you capture? So I'll work hand in hand with the photographer to do, or the videographer to do interviews for the weddings. They want to hear different things. And sometimes a videographer can capture the beautiful moment, but they can't get what they need to get out of someone or to ask them
Okay.
the right
Yeah.
questions for the couple. I'll get people on the dance floor. It's so funny. I did an event. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this maybe 10, 12 years ago, and she told me people still talking about it today. And they were like, oh my God, whoever you had as the host or the MC, because I got them up to dance.
Mm-hmm.
I hype them up, you know what I mean? So when you you're hyping someone up. I'm also able to give certain speeches, change the mood of the wedding, or if it's kind of dry, kind of loosen it up.
Okay.
Sentimental thoughts. So whatever somebody wants, they might want me to write something for the couple. I'll do that. So it's really different. Some people like just do what you do. I just want to have a good time.
Yeah. So I've never been to a wedding where there
Mm-hmm.
was an MC.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good.
when does a couple know that? So like, what are things where a couple would know that I need an MC at
Yeah.
my wedding, or I would benefit from that?
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I think every wedding, it depends. And now, if it's a small, intimate wedding, they may not want one. Like if it's small, just with 20 or less people, I've had that. And I've come to do that because people don't know I'm an officiant as well.
Oh, you
I'm a
are.
certified officiant. Yes, a wedding
Okay, so you
officiant.
didn't talk about
Right,
that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Do
So,
you do the premarital counseling as well?
yes,
Oh,
I
wow.
do. I
Okay.
do. And I just had one that I was
So that's
set
a
for.
package. Do
It
you
is a
offer
pack.
that
I
package?
do offer a package. So I just was getting ready to do one, but they called off the wedding.
Okay.
So that happens. It's better to call off the wedding than to
Absolutely.
go into that wedding. And yeah, you already know, right?
Absolutely.
I require 3 coaching sessions with couples. And then I'll go into the officiant. And I've even had a time where they were like, well, can you might as well just do, can you host it? So I'll do all 3. So I really like to, when I'm officiant, I really like to get to know the couple. I want to ask questions to them individually, how they are as individuals, and then how are they together as a couple. I ask hard questions,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Because marriage is no joke.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anybody can get married, but staying there is the real thing. Everybody can have a wedding. Everybody can make it look nice. Everybody's nice. Talking about like the hosting, the hyping up, and the sentimental moments or whatever they're looking for. Um, but to really stay married, like what is that going to take? So I'm not going to be an officiant for anybody that I don't coach. Like I'm just walking in,
Yeah.
naked to what's happening, not knowing them, and then I'm putting my name in my heart, you know, and God has to like really work through me, with the couples, and then I do the vows based on the couple.
Okay.
So I individualize it. I don't just give, to have and to hold to this. Some parts are traditional. If somebody wants traditional, they'll definitely get traditional. But so far, I've been allowed to add what I want to add, and sometimes it's scripture, sometimes it's their personalities or something they told me, So of course, I go over everything with the couple before I marry them. Yeah.
What's one question that you ask couples that you think, or a question that you think all couples should have, many don't?
Do you want to like, do you want to get married? Just because somebody proposes, just because somebody says yes, do you want to get married? Right? Because that's a loaded question. Do you want to get married? And most people be like, well, yeah, that's why we're here. I'm like, no, do you want to get married? Do you want to be committed to somebody? Do you want to be faithful to someone? So I go through all the fruits of what a marriage is, because people can say they want to get married. And then sometimes I was like, is this just a wedding? Like, is this just a wedding? Are you intentional about your bride, your groom? What are the things What are the things that you want to ask them? Have you asked this? And they'd be like, I never thought of that. Or have you asked that? Are you able to talk freely to your mate? Are you just, because I have been married before and I felt like I was like, I just did what they said. I've been married more than once, and just really just kind of, I always say sometimes I was beat into marriage, not physically, but I'm not even gonna tell you how many times I was engaged or proposed to, not engaged. But it's interesting because somebody else wants to do it. It doesn't mean that you want to do it or that you have to do it. So I want to make sure that someone is not saying yes, or someone is not asking for the wrong reason. Are you asking because you don't want to lose this person? Or are you saying yes because you don't want to lose this person? But do you want to even get married? I've had some people say no.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's simple, right? But it's loaded. It's loaded. So when it comes to hosting, and when it comes to officiating, um, it's almost like you'll see the serious side of me, really doing what I do in coaching of 25 years. And then you'll see the fun side and then the sentimental side. So you get all versions of me. And it's not like I'm just going to come to somebody's wedding as a host and just do me and give what I want. I'm talking to the couple, like, what do you want? When they say just do you, I know, know what that means. You're going to get a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you this: with weddings, are you there throughout the entire wedding, or do you just do the pre-wedding makeup and leave? Or do some ask you, hey, I need touch-ups along the way, stay all day?
It depends on what they book. So we do offer touch-up services at an hourly rate. And so many of our brides, once they've done the bridal preview with us, so what we have when we bring on a new bride, we often do a bridal preview. Some people call that a trial. And at best, I try to schedule them more so in the morning. And I tell the bride, you want to see how this, look at your makeup, look at your hair, and then pay attention to how it wears throughout the day.
Yes.
Pay attention to how you feel in it. Like at some point, does it feel itchy? At some point, does it get oily and shiny? Does something start to crease? Does your hair start to fall? Does it start to get poofy? And kind of write down what time that happened, so that on the day of, we know how to adjust your prep.
Wow.
So that it will last.
Yeah.
And many of our brides find that after watching how it wears, that they don't actually need any touch-ups.
Yeah.
And so the majority of our brides, we show up in the morning, we take care of the bride and the bride party, and we go. But some of our brides do ask that we stay for an
Yeah.
extended period of time, and then we talk about the needs.
Yeah.
And with that, if we do touch-up services, it is really good to loop in your wedding planner in at that time.
Mm.
Because I have had an issue where we mapped out the timeline with the bride. 8 months later, the wedding planner comes in and shifted the schedule. But the shift of the schedule means that the first dance is now at a different time,
Yeah.
which would now add multiple hours to what the
Yeah.
bride has already agreed
Yeah.
to. And now we have to figure something out so
Got
the
it.
bride's not hit with a last
Got
minute
it.
expense. So
Yeah, because she don't want that.
incorporating the wedding planner in as soon as possible.
Yeah, because she definitely doesn't want that. But what I want to do is really, and I know some people do this, and I will talk. A lot of people. How do I want to say this? Because it's important that I say this right. As Black people, we have to support one another, right? And a lot of times I see, of course, not all, we definitely can't speak for all, but I'm just talking about some of the things that I see when it comes to business. Everybody wants to be solo. Like, this is what I do, this is what I do. And I think with even weddings and things, we need to come together and we need to cross reference one another and cross refer one another and maybe do some bundles like that sometimes. Like, hey, if you're coming to me for hosting, let me tell you who does makeup. Let me tell you a seamstress. I know she's good. Let me, and share those out and kind of come together and package some of those things as well. Like, hey, if you choose me for a host, I have Kay here to do makeup, such and such to do hair, or Kay to do hair. That's the insider. But and to have and present that to the bride. Do you do stuff like that?
Well, I work with the team in terms of like providing makeup and hair
Mm-hmm.
services, which allows us to service larger groups of people in shorter periods of
Yes, that's
time.
good.
So
That's good.
we've our max that we've done so far is a bridal party of 14.
Mhm.
And now with that, I'll bring 3 people in.
That's
So
good.
it'll be 3 total
That's
service
good.
providers per service.
That's
But
good.
what is it? We go further together.
Yes.
One can chase, was it 1,000? Two can chase 10.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's always good and important to team up,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't do it all
No.
yourself. And definitely, like I just had a client, a longtime client, she had her baby shower
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and she had reached out to me for photography referral.
Yeah.
And so with us working in weddings, we meet vendors all the time. So I
Yeah.
definitely refer out
Because
to
I
all
met
the
you
vendors.
at a
Yep, vendors and vibes.
shout out to
Vendors and
Jazz.
vibes, yeah.
But I met you and that's what we were talking about. And people don't, well, some people know if you've been following me for a long time, y'all gonna be like, she does too much. I used to shoot weddings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I used to shoot weddings a long, long time ago. I don't even talk about like that. Like I said, if they know, they know. But I think it's important to just when we go to networking events or go to bridal shows and just get as many people and just have a bundle. And I know with hair and makeup, it always seems to go together, hair and makeup. But then the other things get left out, or they wouldn't expect a host to say, hey, this is the makeup artist you should use. This is a photographer you should use. And I think that goes far too.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
makes it easier for the bride.
Yeah.
And I know wedding planners do that,
Mhm.
because they know
Yeah.
all the vendors.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's helpful because services when I started,
Yes.
and I said,
I can
well,
see that.
so I recognize it's like, oh, I'm losing opportunities because I, I don't offer hair service.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I gets a great hairstylist.
Yes. All right, I'm not sure what's happening. All right, but you were saying about the multicultural
Yeah,
fixes.
so doing certain prep styles in, so like, from braided up do's
Mm-hmm.
to bouncy blowouts, all in the same wedding party. And they're able to hire one company that can handle all of
Mm-hmm.
that, And so based on kind of what the bride is looking for,
Mm-hmm.
I will assign the hairstylist based on that. Like we may have one who needs clip-in extensions that are colored. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a stylist who's really great at toning hair, where she can buy, do
Yeah.
recommendations based on needs, because the needs are so vast.
Yeah, but I think that that's so important because even just even if multicultural is important because you expand your brand, that you expand what you do, and even if we're talking about even black hair, everybody's hair is not the
Everybody's hair is different, and
same,
people want to wear their hair differently.
and wear their
And
hair
everyone doesn't want
differently.
to wear their hair straight for their wedding.
Yes,
There's a growing number of women who want to wear their natural texture, and they're looking for a stylist. And a lot of the salon stylists are hesitant to come out of the salon on a Saturday because that's when they earn. And so sometimes
yes,
it's the fee for that is just
yes,
very, very high because you need to cover everything else. But also as we continue to grow, more and more people have friends who are, the bridal party doesn't all look the same. The bridal party isn't all one race.
yep,
The
so
the
true.
groom's parents, the bride's
It's so
parents.
true.
So you have your friends are
It's
diverse, your
so
home
true.
is multicultural,
It's so
and
true.
you don't want to have to hire
It's so
different
true.
service providers for different complexions and different hair textures and have to manage all of those different contracts and price points. It's just too stressful.
But that's a great point. And in some of the best weddings that I've been to or that I have hosted, um, see, people don't even understand Asian weddings. Like people don't understand, I'm a black woman, but I don't just do black weddings. You know what I mean? And people like to have a good time. They want their wedding to be memorable, not just for them, but the people who come. They want people to be, hey, you see Sarah and John's wedding? That was 10 years ago, and we're still talking about that. Or when you run into Sarah and John, you look and they're still talking about, like somebody's coming up to them talking about their wedding.
Yeah.
So that's really what a host does. And I love event planners. I have a lot of friends who plan events. And I used to, be in that whole wedding thing. I was doing everything a long time ago, and I stopped doing it for a long time. And then I got it back into it like a few years ago. But I was doing it a lot. And sometimes people cannot afford a wedding planner. They just can't.
Yeah.
So I find it very viable and very necessary with what I was talking about earlier, like saying, hey, it's almost like we're their wedding planners in a sense, or their referral support system because they don't have it. And they're like, hey, I've had plenty to say, hey, we want to have 50 people, we want to put the money other places. Do you know anybody who does this or who does? So I've acted as a planner outside of when I was planning, but acted as that. Do you find that sometimes if they don't actually have a planner?
Yeah. Because with the hair and makeup, so in those cases, we create their day of schedule, based on what time do you need to be at the venue. So if they don't have a wedding planner, and they have a wedding planner, and talk about that with a wedding planner.
Yes.
But if they don't, that conversation about, and a lot of brides don't know,
Yeah.
like, okay, well, are you doing first photos?
Yeah.
You know,
So tell them, I know you got to go, but tell them quickly what a first look photo
yeah,
is.
first look photo is that they are, the bride and the groom are meeting up prior to the ceremony. And a photographer is taking pictures of the first time you guys see each other dressed as the bride and groom, right? There are detail photos that the photographer might take with pictures of your earrings, your shoes, the little things like that. Some brides want pictures of them getting ready. All of that will change your hair and makeup timeline. Being mindful of the florist. Are they going to deliver the flowers to the venue, or are they going to deliver the flowers to your room? You might be in the makeup chair, so you have a designated person to go downstairs and get the flowers.
That is so,
So
people
like
always,
those sorts of
yeah.
things that we've seen in the morning, because we tend to leave by 2, usually if we're not doing touch-ups. If the bride doesn't have a wedding planner, we're talking through that morning timeline with them.
Yeah,
Of like,
that's
do you
good.
have someone who's going to take this over?
That's
And
good.
have you thought about that?
And I
Someone should
guarantee
take
you,
your
they're like,
phone.
huh, what?
Because you are.
Yeah, like phone.
Yeah, like someone else should have your phone by, I usually say like the hour before you get in the makeup chair, someone else needs to be designated to take phone calls. Because once you get close to your wedding time, you're gonna have your uncle calling you trying to ask you about parking.
That you don't need. That's
And it was
so,
on the invitation.
that's so,
But they're so excited
so true.
about the fact that you're getting
That's
married.
so
They just
true.
want to call. They
That's
just want to call
so
you and talk to
true.
you. And it can really stress the bride
But
out.
how many people think about that? Because I never even thought about that. Think about that, because we're so attached to our phones now. Like, we don't even think like, okay, somebody needs to take my phone, because we want to hold these phones and we want to get the footage. But you don't need that type of stress, and you don't know what's on the other end of that phone. Because if I was to get married, I would have my phone. But I wouldn't need that,
Yeah.
because I'm putting out fires and I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, and then
That's
you
a
can
good point.
pre-designate who's
That's a
gonna put
good
out
point.
which fire.
That's a good
The
point.
playlist shouldn't be on your phone, because if your phone keeps
That,
ringing, your
that,
getting ready playlist is gonna
that.
interrupt it. Or so there's just these little tiny things that can just
Yeah,
help the day, help the morning go more
yeah,
smoothly.
yeah. That's so good. So tell the people why they should hire you. She's amazing, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all, she's amazing. I think you should hire her, but let her tell you.
If you want to look like yourself, if you want a seamless process, if you want to be on time, right? So we get 14 people, we're going to get you in and out. We keep you on schedule. You won't be late for your wedding day because of hair and makeup. And so those are the main things that I think we offer that might be different, is really giving a custom look for you based on what you're looking for, making sure that your wedding day flows on time,
That's
and
good.
also making sure that there's a lot of transparency with pricing, with the process, with the booking
That's
process,
good.
and also communicating with your other vendors to help that day go more smoothly.
That's good, because you don't want to find out how much it costs, like at the because I've seen that. I've seen it. I thought it was this. I literally have seen that with a bride, and saying, well, wait, I thought, and they're talking about the price as she's doing the makeup, because the price had changed. But that should be all paid for and everything handled even beforehand. But I've seen it, and I'm sitting there like,
We have our brides pay out their invoice 7 days before the wedding.
that
And
part.
the reason why is the week of your wedding, you have guests coming in, you have your rehearsal dinner. There was when I first started out, getting cash on the wedding day, but then what if somebody forgot to go to the
Yeah.
ATM?
Yeah.
And it can create so much more stress. So that
Yes.
way, you don't have to think about money on your wedding day.
Yes.
It's done. You just have
Yes.
fun. You just have a great experience.
That's good.
And you can enjoy your day and focus on what matters without having price tags
That's
hanging
good.
over your head.
That's good. All right. Tell them
Yeah.
how they can contact you on social
So
media.
you can find us at Guidugli Artistry and guidugliartistry.com. So that's G as in George, UI, D as in David, UGLI Artistry. Yep. And what about you?
Thank you. So KL Professional Hosting, that is on Instagram. So everything is on there. Well, that's a newer page, so a lot of things are on there. But you can always hit me up on there. inbox me or candelanise@gmail.com or candelanise.com, and you can find out that. But we are available. It's wedding season and we are available. We have a team of people that we work with. We can refer people out, and I think we are better together. I
Absolutely.
think that we should not gatekeep. Not I think, I know we should not. And we can make this day or any event the best day ever with continuity amongst us, right? And to be able to give the bride and groom exactly what they want, or even if it's an event, because we do events also, not just weddings, but to have the best event possible. After all, this is your day, this is your wedding, this is your event. So we are at service to you all, right? It's not about what we want. We could want anything for you, but it's not about us. It's about you, and both professional and making it about them. Because I've seen it otherwise.
Yeah, and
Well,
I
I
just
think you
had a
should.
bride ask, hey, I like golf. I want someone who'll do black lipstick.
Hmm.
Sure, it's
Right,
that.
right.
Where and then some companies won't, but it's like, this is your wedding day vision, then it's your wedding day vision. Absolutely.
Exactly. And as professionals, and I'll say this and we'll end, but as professionals, it's not about us telling somebody what to do. Well, I think you shouldn't wear black for your wedding, lipstick or a black dress. I think that you should wear. That has nothing to do with us. We're here to be of service to whatever they want and need. This is not our day, it's their day. And if we really look at it that way, we'll give because it's like the satisfied client, customer. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. And thank you for being patient. We are at a disclosed location and the Wi-Fi was a little janky, but we're going to get ready to do a video and I'm going to put that out with all of Kay's information and just a short clip so you can get that all in one video. But talk to you soon. God bless y'all. Peace.
Take care.